Alright, so today we are talking about Heroscape. It is a board game that is a lot of fun. Alright, so my name is Dylan, and I'm going to kind of just talk about my experience with the game a little. So this game came out when I was a kid, probably around 2000, in that time frame, early 2000s, but it was a really cool game. I just remember just buying all these different sets. There's like all these expansion packs and new characters that they used to release. They used to release them in like waves, so like every new wave has like its own little story. They had like master sets that gave you like kind of like the most pieces, and like it was cool, and it was a lot of fun. But long story short, the company, kind of went out of business in a sense, and then they stopped making new sets for this game in like 2010. And then for 15 years, I didn't think this game would ever come back. And surprised, 15 years later, in 2025, they released a new set. So someone else kind of bought the rights and started to try to bring the game back, which I'm super excited about. So I'm just trying to, teach people and build more awareness of what the game is, and just help the community a little bit. But trying to explain, what the game, how to play it, what the different scenarios could be, that's kind of what we're going to dive into. The newest master set that came out is Age of Annihilation. So every new set kind of tells its own unique story, and kind of has like unique characters in the set that kind of like play a role. It's cool. There's something like hidden in the background there. But it's really cool. But basically, if you look how to play, you build your own map. So it comes with all these like little kind of like hexagons that you can kind of put together, and you can build kind of like your own playing field. But you build your own map. Each character has like a certain amount of health, has like a certain amount of move, range, attack, defense, and then they cost a certain amount of points, worth 100 points, this character. So you usually play around like 400, 500 points. So you kind of like draft cards, pick cards, until you reach that point, and then you have like your own set team. Now each card has its own special abilities. So this person has flying. Flying just means you can fly over without stopping all the different kind of pieces and like the elevation. So like if I was right here and if I want to go up here, that would technically be 1, 2 spots. So that would take 2 moves. So I would have 4 moves left. So that could be 2, 3, 4. That's kind of how moving works, but flying, again, you can just fly over anything. If you've noticed, there's water pieces. If you enter into the water, you have to immediately stop. You can't move unless they have a special ability. Or if you can fly right over the water. But water is kind of like a unique spot. But each character, again, has their own abilities. What else does this guy say? This says, when opponent's figure are within 4 clear spaces of this figure, they roll 1 lower defense dice. So if you notice, his range is 1, so that means he has to be right next to the opponent to attack, okay? But if the opponent is in 4 clear spaces, so 1, 2, it is, they have to roll 1 less defense dice, because that is his ability, Terrifying Aura. So when you're attacking, you basically
these dice
have,
that you're using?
So if my attack is 3, that means I roll 3 dice. So I'm going to roll 3 dice. Now if you notice, I got 1 skull, so that skull means it's a hit, okay? The shields basically are for defense. So if my opponent, let's say their defense is 3, okay, then they also roll 3 defense shields, and they got 1 shield, okay? So that 1 shield basically blocks that 1 skull. So I basically didn't do any damage. And if their health is, 6, if a skull went through, like say he blocks 1, okay, but I had 2 skulls, that skull would count as a wound. So instead of he would have 5 life. So that's kind of the gist of the game. If you open up the set comes with a bunch of figures. Now there's 2 different versions. You can kind of get the painted version, where the figures come kind of painted. They look kind of nice, look kind of cool. Or you can get the cheaper alternative, where the figures are just non-painted, which is fine. If you're looking just to play and have fun, go for the cheaper route. If you want to paint the figures yourself, they actually sell their own kind of paint, so you can paint the figures yourself. What they look like. So it's kind of up to you. And they sell expansions, different type of expansion sets that you can buy and purchase that give you more pieces, more people, different figures, more land if you want more land. They have exclusive, kind of like limited pre-order editions. So this is Sergeant Drink Alexander. He's like one of the coolest pieces because he was like one of the main characters in the original set for the very first set that came out. And his story is really kind of cool and unique. He came with a bunch of other soldiers. They had a really cool ability where they kind of fly down on the map. You can place them anywhere that you want because it was called airdrop. But it's basically kind of like the god they follow, kind of like the army, kind of like what army they place themselves in. So Utgard is kind of like who he follows. Over on the side are kind of like his qualities. He's a human, unique hero, soldier, medium figure, his abilities, his stats, okay? But he used to basically have this grappling arm, so he used to be able to grapple to reach higher heights. And then his storyline, they released like new figures, every new master set with him. The next master set back in the day that released was like in 2008-9. His grappling arm improved, so he built basically like an arm on his, like a grappling machine attached to his arm. And then he had like a gun, so a pistol, so he was actually a better version. But if you look at this version, they gave him a jetpack, which is pretty cool, so he doesn't even have to grapple anymore. What he uses his grapple for, basically to grapple opponents, so we can bring them closer so we can attack them for a high attack. A little bit disappointed, because I feel like they could have did a better job painting him, like with the color wise and stuff like that. And like his grappling arm, you can't even really see it. The old figure had a really good grappling arm that you could see. These glyphs basically grant special abilities. There's permanent glyphs and temporary glyphs. So like these two are permanent glyphs. This one, if you're standing on the space, prevents your opponent from flying. So none of your opponent's figures get the ability to fly, which is pretty good. This one gives you +8 to your initiative. So what is initiative? How the game works? So how does the game play? Well, each player plays like a certain amount of points for army. So this is my army. I have 4 people in my army. And then you get these order markers. So these order markers is basically who you're gonna move first, who you're gonna move second, who you're gonna move third. So it's 1 through 3. There's an X. The X is a decoy. So I'm gonna place like who I want to move first. So if I want to move Sergeant Drake, I'll move him first. If I want to move this dragon, move him second. If I want to move this sea creature looking thing, that's third. And if I don't want my opponent to know who I'm gonna move third, this is basically a decoy. So they don't know if I'm gonna move him or if I'm gonna move him. But before everyone places their order markers, you have to place the order markers first, then you're going to roll for initiative. Initiative is where you roll the 20-sided dice. Whoever rolls the highest number, I got a 4, would go first. So I would reveal, here's my number 1, then I would move this character first. But this glyph, again, basically just, if you stand on it, gives you +8 to your roll. So instead of 4, it would be 12, okay? Which is pretty good if you want to like try to help your odds of moving first and taking the very first turn. But after the round ends, after I move my first, my second, my third, my opponents move their first, second, and third, then we basically reset. So we're gonna reset. If I want to move maybe him first instead, Sergeant Drake third, maybe decoy, I can put multiple markers on one order card, and then we go into a new round. So the order of who goes first could change after every single round. This glyph basically can heal a wound off one of your army cards, so if someone has any damage, I can heal one of those wounds to give them a little extra health, which is cool. It's a temporary glyph. Once you use it, you remove it from the board. This temporary glyph, if you stand on it, lets you remove another glyph from the map. So if my opponent is on flying, preventing me from flying, if I get on this, I can remove this from the map so I can fly again. It's a temporary glyph, one-time use. So that's kind of the basics of the game. But the funnest part about this game is like building different type of scenarios. So like maybe the objective is to defend an area or bring this special item to this location, or basically survive so many rounds. There's unlimited scenarios that you can play, but it's a fun game. Check it out. Cool.
In the time where peace didn't exist, came a conflict more bigger than anyone could have predicted, with the devil himself. I don't know, it's an intro.
I was like, damn, show this.
But let's introduce everybody to, hi, my name is...
What's your name?
I don't know, I was thinking of a cool name to say. Should I just be my real name? No, that's too obvious.
Be loud.
Damn, bro, don't tell people who I am. Fuck it. You know, I'm the Paradox Twin, you know? I'm one of the Paradox Twins, and right now we're playing a game called Heroscape, which is really, really cool. What we're doing, basically, we set up this scenario on this board where it's called kind of like King of the Hill. You have to capture the mountain to win the game. But in order to capture the mountain, you have to collect 2 treasures and bring the treasures to the mountain. So we're battling to see who can win and get control of this mountain. But there's a twist. The water is actually poisonous. The rule with the water, it's a special rule, is if a figure lands or is in the water, that figure can't technically die. But they're at risk because if you roll the 20-sided dice, and if you roll an 8 or lower, then that figure will get confused, and where your opponent can take over the figure and choose to attack one of your own other pieces or try to kill yourself by coming out of the water. Okay? So you can't die in the water, but you could also be at risk to lose your piece by another, you know, opponent of yours. So it's like, who is going to win in this game of Heroscape? You got any words?
May the best, man. 12 best wizard.
All right. So things just got real spicy. He just landed on the curse. Okay? What the curse does is you roll for every single figure on the battlefield. You roll the 20-sided dice. If you roll 2 or lower, figure's automatically dead, no matter how much health the figure has. Okay? But if you roll anything higher, they're safe. So, let's see. We'll see if someone dies or lives. Alright. You gotta, okay.
No, go to hell.
So what figure are you gonna roll for first?
I'm counting first.
You gotta individually roll for each one.
I am. I'm counting the whole people first.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. It's 14 people.
Okay, so who are you rolling first?
10. 9.
Save. Okay, who's next? Wait, you gotta.
Whoever's next, it doesn't matter.
No, you gotta.
No.
Get on camera.
Don't get it on camera.
Okay.
Piss me the fuck off.
Dude, we gotta play the game.
2, this.
6, this.
13,
Okay,
this.
this.
Piss me the fuck off.
11,
this. 12,
good.
this. 6.
That's a reroll. That's a reroll.
How's that a reroll?
Dude, that's not. It's in the middle, bro.
6, not doing that.
Bro, you're
Everything on the board
fucking
count.
3.
That's for these 2. It's only 1, 2, 3, 4 left for my team.
Okay.
12. That's for this. 20. That's for this. This is the fuck off. 11. That's for this. 19. That's your go.
Alright, so dragon first. My best piece. Okay. Let's see.
Literally a 1.
I lost. That's it. It's GG. It's okay. Oh my god. Damn. Damn, I lost. It's over. So I'm getting my ass kicked. But we got the first battle. I got my water snake versing his little weakening. I'm shaking my die. I got 3 attack. What's your defense? 2. Alright, let's see. 2 skulls. He needs.
Literally 1.
Wait, you only got 2 attacks. Or 2. Okay, I see. Dead.
1.
Dead.
1.
Yeah, I got 2.
And I have what? Oh, I have 1 life.
Killed. First blood.
Yeah, these
Actually.